Hi, I'm Derrick.
And I'm Shila, and we're fellow ambassadors with the Southwest Fire Science Consortium and the Arizona Wildfire Initiative.
And today we'll be walking through the middle school Fire Ecology Learning Lab informal educator kit. There are 2 letters, one to be sent to teachers during the early stages of outreach and one to be sent home with students to inform parents. This is a good thing to keep in mind while you are teaching, as affected students or teachers may want to still hear the lesson.
A lesson on fire ecology has the potential of triggering past trauma in individuals who have had negative experiences with wildfire. In an effort to bring kindness and awareness to the center of this conversation, these letters aim to identify any student or teacher who may not want to participate in this lesson and give them an early opportunity to sit this one out. This lesson is designed to be an hour and a half long, so request to take advantage of a lab or double period if possible. It can also be modified to fit into a 50 or 60-minute long class period as well. This lesson does require the educational burning of 3 9x12 aluminum trays filled with various fuels. Talk to your teacher and or principal beforehand to make sure you arrange an area outside of the school, such as a basketball court or parking lot where this can take place. These trays will need to be arranged before you begin your lesson, and some live fuels will need to be collected day of.
When first arriving at the school, be sure to check in at the front office. Go over classroom dynamics with the teacher. Some dynamics to consider include how you expect the lesson to go, what transitioning between activities will look like, and laying materials in a way that makes sense to you. If you would like, write your name and the lesson's vocabulary words on the board. Verify and set up your trays at your burning location. Take one last look at the temperature, wind speeds, and humidity before making the final judgment on whether or not you should actually burn the trays.
Introduce you, your job, your agency, and how it relates to wildfire and its important role in many beautiful ecosystems across the Southwest. Ask this guiding question to inspire your students to start thinking about wildland fire. What are the properties of wildland fuels, and how does this relate to wildfire behavior? As is the case with younger students, they might not get what the term fuels is referring to right away, but you can just remind them that fuels are anything that can burn in a fire. And so wildfire fuels are most often things like logs, trees, sticks, and any area-specific fuels you can think of. Explain that students will have 5 minutes to look at the 3 different trays and make observations about how the trays look now and predictions about what will happen once they're burned. They can write or draw their ideas on the first page of this handout here. Students will then pair share with a partner about what they noticed and how they think the trays and the different fuels inside of them will burn. Review fire safety, how to use a fire extinguisher, and exactly how you'll be putting out the fire. Tell students to stay seated and record their observations. Be clear and concise with your directions, show that you're serious, and follow through on your consequences for this portion. Also, go over the safety aspects of your location and the weather that day, and explain why you think, in your professional opinion, that it is safe to light a fire. For example, you can say, take a look around our burning location here. Notice that we are burning on concrete, we've removed any sticks or grass that could catch fire, and we have 2 ways at least of putting out our fire if we needed one. A fire extinguisher and plenty of water. We have also made sure that there is no red flag warning today, and that it's not too hot or windy to burn. Can we think of any other safety precautions that we need to think of before we light this fire?
At the minimum, do not burn during a red flag warning. Instead, have students only observe the trays and show the provided YouTube videos of the trays burning. Once you feel that students have spent enough time observing and your fires are safely out, please transition back to the classroom.
Have students discuss their predictions and observations in small groups at their tables or in pairs. You can travel around to the groups or have the discussion as a full class. Ask them to look for trends or ways to describe or explain why the fire behaved the way that it did when certain fuels were being consumed. Hand out the fuel property cards to the groups and have them compare what they recorded to the cards. Ask them to tell you a specific example of when they saw one of these fuel properties displayed in the tray burning. Discuss, help students be creative and come up with their own ideas, and remind them that it doesn't matter if they say exactly the right thing. Now, break out the biotic community cards and have students apply what they learned in the trays and read about in the fuel property cards to a wildland setting. What fuels did they see, and how does this mean the landscape will burn? What does this mean for you if you're a wildland firefighter trying to respond to a fire in this environment with 100% fuel continuity or 0% fuel moisture? Make sure you cover all of the fuel property cards by the time you're through, and if students don't have an example for one, just come up with an example in these biotic community cards or in their schoolyard ecosystem. Explain the fuel properties homework, if applicable. Ask students if they have any further questions on the lesson, experiment, or your position in the world of wildfire, and you can pass out any cool goodies you brought at this point in the lesson. That is the Middle School Fire Ecology Learning Lab kit. If you have any more questions or need any assistance with outreach or acquiring a kit, please reach out to the Southwest Fire Science Consortium.